The benefits of being heard. I was out shopping recently with my adult daughter and found a piece of clothing I genuinely loved, and it actually looked good on me. I said almost casually that I was going to get it. Without hesitation, she bought it for me. It was a small moment, no grand gesture, no deep conversation, just a simple response. But I felt heard. She had noticed what I liked. She paid attention. She responded to what mattered to me without me having to explain it or make a case for it. It wasn't about the purchase. It was about being known in that moment. And in that instant, I felt seen. And if I'm honest, I also felt a flicker of vulnerability. Receiving can be harder than giving, especially for those of us who are used to being the steady one, the provider, the emotional anchor. Letting someone care for you can feel unfamiliar. But beneath that vulnerability was something steady and warm. I mattered. It's one of the quiet benefits of being heard. Being heard matters in every realm of life. It matters at work. It matters in friendships. It matters in marriage, in parenting, in leadership. It even matters in the smallest, quietest exchanges we barely register at the time. Because when you are truly heard, something inside you settles. Why being heard is missing. Most of us don't walk around saying, I need to be heard, but we feel it when we're not. We feel it when we're interrupted mid-sentence, when someone responds before we finish speaking, when we try to explain something important and are met with distraction, correction, or dismissal. Over time, not being heard can begin to feel like not being seen, and that's heavy. Sometimes the weight shows up as irritation, sometimes as sadness, sometimes as withdrawal. You might stop bringing things up altogether. You might tell yourself it's not worth the effort. You might shrink your thoughts down to something easier to manage. But the need doesn't disappear. It just goes quiet. What happens inside when you are heard? When someone truly listens, your nervous system responds. Your shoulders soften, your breathing shifts, your thoughts untangle just enough to become clearer. You feel less alone inside your own head. This is not accidental. When we are heard, our brain interprets that experience as safety. And safety changes everything. It allows us to think more clearly. It lowers the defensiveness. It makes connection possible again. Years ago, when I was developing the idea for Hold, I wanted to test something simple. Could 15 minutes of focused listening activity actually make a difference? A timer was set. I had something sitting heavy on my chest, work-related, the kind of thing that loops in your mind and keeps grinding long after the day is over. I talked. I was listened to. There was no interruption, no fixing, no advice. At the end of those 15 minutes, I remember the physical sensation more than anything. I felt lighter. Nothing externally had changed. The job was still the job. The circumstance was still the circumstance, but internally, there had been a shift. Being heard had created that space, and space is powerful. The quiet weight of being the one who listens. The benefits of being heard are often internal before they are external. You may not walk away with a new plan. You may not have solved the problem, but you are no longer carrying it alone. The mental loop slows. The emotional charge softens. Clarity begins to return. For many people, especially those who are the strong ones in their circles, this can be rare. The emotionally aware friend, the capable partner, the steady leader, the parent who holds everyone else's feelings. These individuals are often excellent listeners, but they may not have a consistent place where they themselves are deeply heard. And when that space is missing, loneliness creeps in, even in full rooms. There is a particular exhaustion that can come from the one who listens, but rarely is listened to. Being heard restores balance. It reminds you that your internal world matters just as much as everyone else's, that your thoughts are worthy of attention, that your feelings are not inconveniences to be managed. Why being heard changes relationships. It is emotional support in its most foundational form, not therapy, not advice, not someone telling you what to do, just steady presence. In a culture that moves quickly, reacts quickly, and often responds before understanding, being heard can feel like a rare gift. But it shouldn't be rare. It should be normal. Imagine how different workplaces would feel if people were truly heard before decisions were made. Imagine how different marriages would feel if both partners understood before defensiveness set in. Imagine how different parenting would feel if children experienced curiosity instead of correction first. Being heard strengthens connection because it builds trust, and trust is what allows relationships to endure conflict without breaking. Returning to yourself. The common thread across all of this is simple: value, respect, connection. When you are heard, you feel valued, respected, and connected. Those three things change how you move through the world. And sometimes the greatest benefit of being heard is this: you return to yourself. Your thoughts make more sense. Your emotions feel more manageable. Your next step becomes clear, not because someone solved it for you, but because you were given the space to hear yourself think. If you have someone in your life who listens this way, tell them thank you. It's no small thing. And if you don't currently have that space, it does not mean that you're asking for too much. It means you're human. At Hold, this understanding is at the center of our work. We provide confidential, judgment-free listening, structured emotional support that allows you to speak freely and feel fully heard. No fixing, no pressure, no performance, just presence. Because you matter. And being heard isn't indulgent. It's essential. If you would like to experience what it feels like to be fully heard, you can book a confidential listening appointment at www.hearingoutlivedrama.com/book-online.